So yesterday we talked about how the player can identify what it is that they want and need, what the character wants and needs in terms of their goals and also their ambitions. What kind of rewards you can give them, what kind of things that they're striving for in the process of playing the game. Today we're going to talk about how does the Game Master integrate that and what kind of conversation do they have with the player or players. Hey, what's up? I'm GR. This is Playerbase, which is a channel about ludology, the study of the dynamics of play. This is a whole series about how to play a role-playing game, basically. And today, we're talking about the conversation between Game Master, or Dungeon Master, and player, as opposed to player character, at the table, or beforehand, or in between sessions, about what their goals and motivations are and how to integrate that. So, through the course of play, with the character or characters that you have at your table as the Game Master, you will get a sense of what they're responding to and what they're enjoying. There might be things that you have in the adventure that you've prepared or that you have ready made from a manufacturer that has opportunities in it or objects in it that might be worthwhile to consider, that the players will definitely consider, and you are recommended very highly to consider their consideration. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll give you an example of the obverse. I was once playing in a West Marches game on a Discord server. It's called Covillian West Marches, and we were traveling along somewhere, and there was an abandoned castle, and I was thinking, oh man, Strongholds and Followers just came out. I would love to make that my stronghold. And they said, no, we're not doing that. We're actually not using any of that material, even though we have Matt Colville in the name. Okay, well, I didn't play a second session there. I mean, what's the point? Like, if I am bringing something to your table, if I'm showing up and giving you my time and showing up on time with my work prepared, I have my pencils and my paper and everything, and I've made it clear to you what I'm looking for, which is reasonable within the bounds of the adventure you're presenting, and you say no to that, like, that's the cue for them to leave. And, if you don't know that, it's okay to have that conversation. However, when you have that conversation, even if you have it mid-session at the table, it goes something like this. So this is what you want? Yeah, this is what I want. What about this? Yeah, there's a thing over there. Could I get that? Yeah, maybe. You might be running a game where there's an abandoned edifice which they could use as a base and then build up and acquire followers, or maybe one of the antagonists has a really powerful magic item or piece of armor that they want. Let them take it if they can get it. If they are going in a certain direction and you aren't expecting it, it's kind of your job to go with it. A role-playing game essentially is a conversation between the Game Master and the player. But not the conversation at the table where you're talking to each other. It's a conversation of actions. That's really what's meant when they talk about it being an improv game of yes and. The game is presented by the Game Master. It's set up kind of like a sandbox. And then the players play in it, and they do things, and they go laterally. It's the Game Master's responsibility to follow them. I mean, if they break the fourth wall constantly and they're always going out of left field doing hijinks, you get a sense of that. But if they're going, and that's a boundary that you need to set, but if they're going in reasonable directions, like they're playing a pseudo-medieval character and they want like a castle or a manor house or a magic wand, and you have castles and magic wands in the adventure you're presenting, even if that wasn't their intended purpose, it will enrich the game. It will enrich your experience of the game, and that's really what the whole thing is about, because you can't do that in video games. And this is the part that people really this is really important. Hold on with me for this. People, particularly people who are under 35, they miss out on this. The whole point of a tabletop role-playing game is that the rules are there just to give you a sense of haptic feedback. It's not a war game. They're there to make it feel like it's real. Like the cause and effect in Minecraft, but you can go into creative mode whenever you want. And I don't recommend that in a role-playing game on the tabletop, unless you're the Dungeon Master and they keep killing themselves on first level. But, you got to work with them. It's a conversation of actions. It's like a dance. And that's the fun part that you can't do anywhere else in the world. Try it and get back to me. I'm GR. It's Player Base.